Israel has widened its offensive against Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, displacing almost 1 million people in the face of growing international calls for a ceasefire. A day after Hezbollah confirmed the death of its leader Hassan Nasrallah, Israel fired off more missiles, killing at least 21 people.
And as the region teeters on the brink of war, Israel has also carried out deadly strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen as Iran vows revenge for the killing of a deputy in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard in Beirut. ABC correspondent Kathryn Diss has the latest for us from Jerusalem.
Well, we've seen no let-up in the missile bombardment by Israeli forces on Lebanon today, a day after it took out Hezbollah headquarters in southern Beirut. Clouds of smoke have shrouded Lebanon's capital today as the Israeli Defence Force has tried to hit more targets in Dahia, which was a Hezbollah stronghold. The Israeli Defence Force saying that it is trying to take out its vast arsenal of weapons, which it claims are being buried in bunkers deep underneath the surface under residential neighbourhoods, not just in the capital but also across the country. Some Lebanese people have been quietly celebrating the death of Hassan Nasrallah, the longtime leader of Hezbollah, whilst many Lebanese people have been mourning the loss of who they viewed as being an influential political leader for their country.
The future is scary with the war, the situation. I hope we go back to our home, and that would all have been a lie about Syed Hassan. We praise God. I hope he is not dead.
Our colleague on the ground in Beirut managed to speak to a member of Hezbollah. Let's take a listen to some of his thoughts.
Israel did a very big mistake. It will regret it. We need a couple of days, a couple of months to be back on our feet. We prepare condolences for the Saeed, and then it will be fine. Afterwards, Israel will bear the consequences, not us.
The death of Hassan Nasrallah is a major escalation in this conflict and brings the Middle East one step closer to an all-out regional war. He wasn't just influential within Hezbollah, but also a key figure for Iran, and had built up Hezbollah to be the leading force in Tehran's so-called Axis of Resistance, which is a coalition of militia forces of Arab nations across the Middle East. Whilst his death may well destabilise the organisation in the short term, predictions that it will collapse it altogether are misguided.
Kathryn Diss reporting there. Well, Qantas engineers warn strike action could cause flight delays this morning, but the carrier insists it's not expecting any disruptions. Let's go to reporter Stephanie Ferrier from Melbourne Airport. Good morning, Steph. When are we likely to see this action start up?
Good morning, Bridget. Well, it has just started with more than 1,000 engineers set to walk off the job for 2 hours this morning. So this started just a few minutes ago here at Melbourne Airport, as well as Sydney, Canberra and Brisbane. In the next half an hour, we'll see engineers in Adelaide doing likewise. And then at 7 a.m. Australian Western Standard Time over in Perth Airport as well. Now, all of these engineers from the Qantas Engineers Alliance say that this is going to cause an immediate and significant impact on flights today. So far, though, all I have seen on the flight departure board is 3 delays to flights. We don't know whether or not they're in relation to this strike at all. And we have heard from Qantas as well saying that they have contingencies in place to ensure that there are no disruptions to flights and that travellers can continue unimpeded with their journey. They say that over the past 4 days since this action first started, they've seen no disruptions to the flight as a result of any other strike action. But we know that these are relating to Qantas line maintenance engineers. So they are responsible and in charge of marshalling and towing aircraft, and also importantly doing those turnaround checks. So checking the aircraft after they have landed to ensure that they're safe enough to take off again. So we don't know whether or not this is going to have an impact. moving onwards now that we've hit the 7 o'clock mark, and obviously it's designed for that busy peak hour rush. But we've heard from the unions. This is an alliance of the Australian Manufacturing Workers Union, the Australian Workers Union and also the Electrical Trades Union. And they are pushing for a hefty 15% pay rise and also subsequent pay rises after that. And they say that this is as a result of pay freezes over several years, while they claim that Qantas management is picking up big bonuses. Now, we are going to hear from Steve Murphy, who is the National Secretary of the AMWU, in the next hour to explain exactly what they are hoping to achieve with this strike action.
Steph, thanks very much. Let's get more news. Emma's here.
Thanks, Bridget. The man who abducted Cleo Smith at a remote Western Australian campsite and held her captive for 18 days is expected to learn the outcome of an appeal to reduce his prison sentence today. Terence Kelly was jailed for 13 years and 6 months after pleading guilty to abducting the 4-year-old in October 2021. His lawyer appealed that sentence, arguing the judge didn't give Kelly's disadvantaged childhood and trauma enough consideration. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke has warned anyone supporting terrorist organisations at rallies across Australia will risk having their visa cancelled. The warning came after a small minority of protesters carried Hezbollah flags and photos of its slain leader Hassan Nasrallah during rallies against the conflicts in Gaza and Lebanon over the weekend. Police in Melbourne are investigating yet another tobacco shop fire. Fire crews were first called to the blaze in Fawkner in Melbourne's north about 2:30 this morning. It took more than half an hour to bring the fire under control. A community advice message was issued due to the amount of smoke. Sydney's T3 Bankstown train line is officially closed as of today, with commuters being reminded to plan ahead. 9 stations are expected to stay shut for at least 12 months while the line's converting to a metro service. Trains are being replaced with fare-free bus services.